today I am going to be talking about the do's and don'ts of being a scare actor and also my time as a scare actor from 2021. And okay, so bear with me here. I haven't even prepared for this yet, so I'm just going with the flow. And at the end, I will answer anyone's questions, and if anyone asks a good question, I have stickers that I'll be giving to anyone who asks a really good question. And okay, so here I go. So one of the first things about being a scare actor that you're not supposed to do is oh gosh, I'm trying to remember. It's been 2 years since I was in a haunted house, actually here in Rapids. So one of the things that I, from experience, know not to do is to if there's any like breakable structures such as glass windows, for example, if part of your act is to try and scare the guests going through by banging on the glass of the window, to make sure to either not do it too hard or to make sure the glass is not real. I made the mistake of banging on a glass window way too hard, and the glass shattered, and I have a scar to prove it on my finger.
That seems pretty scary.
It was for me, that's for sure, because I never cut my finger on glass before, and I was crying so badly because I was in so much pain. But luckily, one of my partners at the time, he was also there working at the haunted house too, and he knew first aid, so he helped me get through that. And afterwards, for that night, we had pizza for supper, so I got to get pizza after that. One of the things that you're allowed to do is you're allowed to actually go up to the people and you're allowed to actually grab them and drag them, because it's something that every scare actor has probably done at least once in the haunting season, and it's actually lots of fun to actually grab the people going through or just chase them through the haunt, because I and my boyfriend and at the time and we had rooms adjacent right next to each other, and so we scared this group of grown men to the point where they backed through one of the gates that us actors went through. They broke through the gate, and we had to fix that right afterwards. Oh boy. Let's see. Some of the other stuff that we were allowed to do is when a new group goes through when they announce a new group going through, we either do blood-curdling screams, we howl, we shriek, and that actually gets basically the mood set for being scared. And was one that did a blood-curdling scream that year, but after a few weekends I couldn't do it anymore because I did it so much that I hurt my throat. And so I had to switch to doing a wolf howl because they were like, scare actors ready? And that's our cue to do the screams, the howls, all of that. And then, let's see, at the end of, one of the things at the end of the night of the haunts, the very last group that goes through, we would follow behind the group and chase them out of the exit. I had to be careful because I don't have the outfit anymore besides the mask, but I had a long robe on and I was tripping on that thing, so I had to be careful not to trip and fall running outside. Let's see. Oh goodness.
She has a question.
Yes?
Is there any do's and don'ts for costumes, or is it just free reign on creativity on that?
It depends on the haunt, on what the people running the haunt want, but most of the time it's free reign, supposedly, depending on what room you get put in. Like, we obviously got to decorate our own masks, and I ended up doing fake blood all over mine, because underneath the mask, I had blood on my face and like a slit type mark on my neck, because I don't even remember what kind of haunt or scare character I was supposed to be. But I was stuck in like a graveyard campground area theme. Let's
Just a second.
yeah.
Just a second. My nervous young friend here has accidentally really gone ahead. She's isn't scheduled until 5.
Oh.
Hmm.
Now, I don't know if it matters to any of you folks. I don't care. I'll sit here and listen because she's a great speaker. I enjoy talking to her. But I just want to let you know that so keep, unless somebody out there really objects, keep going.
Yeah. Whoops.
It doesn't matter. Go. Just
Yeah.
go.
I'm trying to think of some of the other do's and don'ts.
How about a question?
Yes?
How do you get into being a scare actor?
Well, one of the things that you gotta do to get into being a scare actor is you gotta find a haunted house that is looking for help for scare actors to participate. In fact, I plan on, since I live up in Aberdeen, South Dakota, every October they have a haunted forest at the Storybook Land. And they are always looking for scare actors to volunteer, so that's going to be my next haunt in October.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, quick question.
Yeah?
So is the scare, job, is it all just volunteer work, or can you do it like professionally? You know, people do it all the time.
It can be done professionally. Like, I volunteered that October, but at the end of the season, we do get paid. And I believe I got paid around $200 for the weekends that I worked, which also kind of made me lose my job at the time. Oh well. Anyways, let's see. Yeah?
I was just gonna ask, when did you do your steering? Was it last year?
It was October of 2021.
Okay.
Yep. Because that was when I was still going to college at Black Hill State in Spearfish. So I would travel down every weekend on Friday to work the haunt on the weekends. And of course, a friend of mine who isn't here, he's actually out, I believe, out of state. He actually was the one that got me the position as a scare actor at that specific haunt. And so me, him, my now exes, were all working at that haunt that October, which was actually really fun. Despite the injury. And so I was actually I was probably one of their best scarers because, in my opinion, because of my screams, and then I actually managed to scare quite a few people. And so, and of course, the weekend of Halloween, that Saturday, I went and got my septum pierced. And so, I had to wear this mask over the septum piercing. I managed to make it through the entire shift, but it was a struggle, to say the least. And so, I've gotten quite a few compliments from people that I've told my story of working at the haunt, that I was a trooper and that I was really good, which made me happy and made me want to do more scare acting, which is why I'm going to do the scare acting in Aberdeen for the Haunted Forest. Yeah?
How many weekends do you work when you're doing like a scary season?
It depends on the haunted house. Like, the one that I worked at for the very first time, that ran all of October. And so I worked every weekend in October for the haunt. Yeah?
Have you or someone you know panicked someone so much they punched you? Scared them too much?
I don't remember, and I don't quite talk about this, but because of my mask, I had a hard time seeing, and so I was up like this behind someone, and I made the mistake of grabbing someone in the chest. And it was someone that I knew from college. I felt so bad afterwards, but I laugh about it to this day. Yes?
Is there such a thing as going too far in terms of scaring, and how do you avoid doing that?
It can be. At the time, depending on what happens.
Oh, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. As long as that's good.
And so, some people will carry it a little too far, and that might get, I think it'll get removed, I can't remember for sure, from working at the haunt. Like, I remember one of the don'ts that you're not supposed to do at haunts, and that is come to work drunk. Someone that season came to work drunk and got fired from the haunt, and we never did see him after that. But he was really good, and we lost a really good scare after that season. Yeah?
You ever have to break act? You ever have to break character when like a person like overreacted or actually looked like you might have been having a panic attack?
Oh yes, multiple times. We have to escort them out if they don't want to continue, which happened quite a bit actually during that haunt season. And so, luckily I didn't have to, but my partners at the time did. Let's see. Another thing that happened that year that I remember, my girlfriend at the time, she had this leash and collar at the haunt, and one of the guests actually let her collar him and take him through the haunt. It was fun.
Oh my goodness.
And this is why there are no children in this room, thankfully.
So wait, if they can collar them, like how far would be too far when it comes to like scare acting then?
That would, it probably depend on the guest's comfortability. Like, this person allowed my girlfriend to do it. So he was basically fairly comfortable with it. Yes?
Is there like a safe word they tell people ahead of time where they go, if you say pineapple,
Smart thing.
you're too scared, we have to stop.
You might suggest that if they don't do that.
I don't even remember too much about that season, and I don't remember if there was a safe word or not. Yes?
Is there like a rating with some people wing in? So like a rating to see what level to scare them at?
There was not, unfortunately, but that's a good suggestion.
Like
for
put a
future
number
haunt.
on their like shirt or something of how far they can be scared or something.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good idea. I know one of the groups that went through that year, the kid was brave, but the mom chickened out and was screaming the entire time for the maze. And of course, we had fog machines going throughout the entire haunt, so it made it a lot more difficult for the people to see, which made it a lot more fun for us to scare. Yes?
So let me talk about you personally. Are you ever thinking about moving beyond scare acting into more traditional acting roles?
That's actually how I got into scare acting. When I was in junior high and high school, I took theater. I was in the theater club in my junior high and high school. And we did one act in spring plays. One act was in late December, early January, and then the spring play was from like February to April. And so when I was in one act, I got Best Actor for 2 years. And I think I got Most Improved Actor, I think. I can't remember for sure. But then when I when I was a senior, my senior project slash senior capstone was for directing, because I wanted to go into the theater field, which is why I originally went to Black Hills State, was for theater. Because I was going to get a bachelor's of science with a major in theater and a minor in music, so I could cover all aspects of acting. But personal life events happened that just made me not want to do it anymore. And it was a good thing because this last spring, the theater professor retired, and so Black Hills State no longer has a theater program. And I was a part of the theater society in college my freshman year. I graduated this last December with my associates in general studies. And so at least I got that much of a range in actual acting, which is why I obviously don't need a microphone when I talk, because I know how to project. Because that was one of the things that they taught us, was project your voice.
I think he had a question. Earlier.
Any other questions? Yeah?
I guess what's next? You said you wanna get back and go to Aberdeen and do the scary thing again, or do
Yeah.
you wanna continue on the theater, or what's the next goal?
Well, I know I do plan on, since I live in Aberdeen, I plan on working that haunt that weekend for the Halloween season. But I eventually do want to find theaters that I could audition for and perform at. I almost thought about joining the Black Hills Playhouse Theater, but that would be too much time away from my family. But it would have been lots of fun to go and travel all over and meet with kids and perform for people. Cause I went in 2019 to the Black Hills Playhouse theater camp. And how I managed to get to do that was the Black Hills Play. They have a travel troupe that goes around to different towns in South Dakota. And they came to my school, which is Sully Buttes High School over in Oneida, South Dakota. And afterwards, that kind of piqued my interest that summer. And so I applied on their website to attend the camp, and so my mom helped, of course. And so that summer I went up to the Black Hills, up to, I can't remember where it's at, I think Custer? I don't remember for sure where that's located. But that summer, the musical that we got to perform was Footloose. And so I got to learn to sing and to dance and all at once, and that was a complete blast for me. And then I wanted to actually volunteer to help with the theater camp the next year, but that didn't happen because COVID.
Yay, COVID.
Yeah? Any other questions?
So, I love the internet, and our smartphones are wonderful now, aren't they? Have you ever considered joining the Aberdeen Community Theater?
I haven't yet, but I might now.
Now you don't have to travel, it's in your hometown.
Yep.
The family of my ex-wife lived in Aberdeen, so I know something of Aberdeen. So you know, something you might want to think about for your personal, and you don't have to travel, it's right there. Ta-da! Yay for the internet. So, that was it, not really a question, more of a,
suggestion.
here you go, 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 go.
Which of course, I do love taking suggestions. Let's see. My thought process is all over the place right now, so like I said, bear with me. I'm trying to think of other do's and don'ts. Yes?
What are some major rules you have to follow when it comes to scare acting?
Basically, stay in your areas is one of the main ones. And of course, unless you get permission from the owners of the haunt, then you can go around scaring people through the different rooms. But I mainly stayed in my one area, which was in the little campfire scene area. And so there was one person that year that we all adored. His name was Tyler, and he was the one that would run around with the chainsaw, scaring people, running around with the chainsaw. He was one of our best scare actors for the haunt seasons, because he used to do other haunts in Rapid City in the past. I'm trying to think of what those ones were though, but I can't. Terror in the Dark was one of them.
Yep.
Which I sadly never got to attend because that was before I knew about scare acting and that sort of thing. Yes?
How long does it take, is there like any training for this scaring, or are you just given a mask, take that and go, that, and that, and that?
Basically, there's really no effort to it. Like, I never had experience in scare acting before until I went to work at the haunt.
So would you say there's a lot of improv?
Oh yes, definitely. Which makes it even more fun. Yes?
Are you kind of a horror movie buff then, or do you look at horror movies in any way now that you've kind of been on the other side of that?
I love horror movies. I love horror in general. Because that's how I got into horror, was through those partners. I know at the end of each night, after we've scared the last group through, they would turn on party music, Halloween party music, and we would just dance our way through at the very end of the haunt. Yep, that was one of them. That's right. Thriller was another one. It was all sorts of fun that year. Any other questions?
I guess if you could design your own scare park, what kind of a theme would you do?
Oh boy. That would be very hard for me to figure out. Like,
Sort of haunted cornfield or mental hospital or all kinds of stuff?
I probably incorporate a whole bunch of different stuff, a whole bunch of different horror themes, maybe some from the Saw series, Children of the Corn. Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Chucky. And there would be like a room full of haunted dolls that I would have, because my girlfriend at the time, she would work in previous haunts in the doll room, because she was short. She was like 5 foot, and she fit in with the doll room really well. And then her boyfriend, her fiance at the time, now husband, he was 6 foot something, and so he worked in a different part of a haunt, scaring people. He was a butcher, I think, that year, because he worked in that sort of room in that haunt that year. And because of that, I'm part of the that specific haunt family now. And so we do mask making for haunts too, which that's actually really fun. Any other questions? Yeah.
Thinking for your experience with the acting and getting into scare acting, what would you say is that drives you the most, your most favorite part of getting involved?
Probably being around people that are like me and being able to dress up in the characters that we're trying to portray, which is also why I like coming to conventions and making people smile and be happy and taking photos with people, which is why I've been doing this all quite a while, because it's something that's one of my true passions. Yes?
Is there any like legendary scare houses, like ones that have been going on for decades or have a massive reputations that they have?
Gosh, I'm trying to think of some of them. I can't remember for sure what some of them are.
Disney?
Oh yeah.
Disneyland.
Yeah.
Haunted house.
Oh yeah, the Haunted Mansion. Let's see, and then of course, when Terror in the Dark was still